right, folks, so it's quarter one, week 7, and we're getting close to the end of the quarter. What am I going to do in 2 weeks in this class?
Test?
Well, the test is when? Yeah, there'll be a notebook check in 2 weeks, and then on Friday we have a test, right? So just know that in 2 weeks I'll be collecting your binders for your quarter one binder check. That is a test grade. So make sure your binder's in good shape, everything's all hole punched and in order. All right, and today we're going to be talking about zebra and stripes. So, and in reference to that, most folks think zebra, what's the first thing you think of, obviously? And you say black and white. What kind of animals do the zebras kind of look like? They look kind of like horses, right? So they have some commonalities to each other and other animals, and what we're going to look at today are the things that make the 4 different zebras distinct from one another.
I don't have enough. That's not my problem.
Right, something number 4. Blue number 4. And in reference to that, we can also kind of think back to our general concept of variation in Earth's organisms. This is the second time we've used this symbol Earth before, so folks may have forgotten what it was. It's like a circle with a cross in it. And can folks remind me, why is there variation in Earth's organisms? Why aren't we all just the same shape, size, color? Why don't we all have the same structures? All right, well, for one thing, right, we'd be homogeneous, right? We'd all look the same. And why would that be a bad thing, though? Why would it be bad to all look the same? All right, so he's kind of hinting this idea that being diverse, being different than others is somehow important. Could any animal or any plant or any fungus survive anywhere in the world?
No.
Could you just like take it from where it lives now and put it anywhere?
No.
Why is that?
They'll die.
Because they're like already adapted to the place.
Yeah, I think for reasons.
So they, like, to put them somewhere else, they will be like useless.
All right, great. So, so Diana and Coco had some good teamwork there about how the you need certain adaptations. Right, you need to have the certain tools to survive in certain areas. And what are some of the different places in the earth that organisms live?
Trees.
Forests, right? They live in trees, on trees.
How about the ocean?
Where it's cold. Yeah, right, in places where it's cold. In places that are covered in water, right? So based on the varying environments, right, we have a variation in organisms in order for them to adapt to live and be successful in those situations. All right, so let's get us started off here. So Christine, if you could pick our first reader of the day.
How come I never get picked?
Eddie, great. All right, so Eddie's gonna start with you. So Eddie, after you read her quote, maybe you could even say a little something extra about it, like what you think it means.
I heard quote.
Yeah.
The only shore camouflage. Wait, what does that say? Wait, I said it right?
I didn't hear you.
The only shore camouflage is unpredictability.
Excellent. All right, so thinking about variation, thinking about not being homogeneous, all being the same, that kind of ties this idea of unpredictability. Yeah.
I'm guessing like the only shore that you can blend in is not, I don't know, like not being the same.
All right, cool. Right, so this idea of blending in, not being the same, he's on the right track, right? So if every animal looked exactly the same, would they be able to camouflage in every environment? No, you've got to match your environment. What was that little change that could happen in an organism that might help them adapt or might damage them? Something that, you know, you're born with it and maybe you've got an extra of something or you're missing something. A mutation, right? This mutation is an unpredictability that allows some organisms to find better camouflage or other better tools to adapt to their different environments. All right, and then last time we met, we talked about how the homework would be due on Tuesday, right? So the homework you went home with on Friday was reading and the paragraph you're supposed to write, or greater than a paragraph. What I'd like you to start thinking about tonight is pretty soon we're going to have another computer activity where we start adding in all this stuff about science fair onto the Math Science Fair website, as well as the PowerPoints we created. Remember I had you guys create your PowerPoint slides for science fair? So just know that next Friday we'll be in the lab, and you're gonna need to sit down and pound these things out. Friday is the day that it is due, right? If you look at Aspen, or if you look at our agenda planner, you'll see that October 23rd is the due date for this assignment. Do you have to wait till October 23rd to have this done?
No.
No, right? So like, do it tonight, do it tomorrow, and then that day we're in the computer lab, you work on other stuff if you need to, or just fine tune it with me. So just think of that Friday, that's gonna be your last chance for those that haven't done it yet. All right, let's move on to the notes. We're ready to roll. All right, so our first word of the day is accuracy. So we're gonna use some pretty common vernacular in today's notes, just about talking about these words in the lens of science. In the last chapter, we talked a little bit about the difference between science and religion, about how scientists are more concerned about evidence, right? We need things that we can touch or that we can prove mathematically. And a lot of it has to do with this idea of accuracy, which is, how close our measurement is to its actual or true value. So for example, let's say I had two liquids. I had some lemonade, a yellow liquid, and I had some fruit punch, a red liquid. If I mix the two liquids together, what do I expect my actual true value, my result to be? I mixed this red juice and this yellow juice, and I should get an orange juice, right? So if that has happened, right, if I pour those two things and it turns orange, we have established accuracy, right? We got what we should have. And maybe there's a situation where the red is really saturated and it covers over the yellow and it only turns a little bit orange, not enough that you can see. That would be something that is less accurate. Now let's say I do that over and over again, right? I have like 5 cups of fruit punch and 5 cups of lemonade, and every time I pour it, I get orange. I would now enter a condition known as precision. And this is that I've gotten, my measurement is very close. Each time it's been the same, right? So it's how close I am to the measured values and how close they are to each other. And we can think of a very simple physics experiment. What's that, like, all-powerful force in the universe that's pulling on everything all the time? Gravity, right? And right, the gravity of the Earth is generally speaking consistent, right? So if I have this pen and you have a timer and I drop it, if I did it like 15 times, are we gonna get the exact same time every time?
No.
Right, but is it gonna be like a huge difference in time?
No.
No, right, so maybe one time it clocks in at 1.2 seconds, and the next time it's 1.3, and then it's 1.0, and then 1.2 again. Right, that would still maybe be precise, right? It's still pretty close. It's not like it was 5 seconds one time and 20 seconds the next. It's that it's still pretty close to each other. And then lastly in science, we're really interested in being able to cultivate specificity, right? So having our language that is really detailed. So the condition of being detailed about a particular variable. And what we're looking for in being specific is using language or numbers as a tool to show the differences between things. So a few weeks ago we talked about hominids, right? We talked about bipedal primates, and what were some things they all had in common? So chimpanzees, orangutans, tarsiers, Lucy.
Same ancestor.
All right, so what do they have common ancestry, right? And how do we know they have a common ancestor? What are some similarities they have?
Their
bone, the hip bone.
All right, so maybe having hip bones. You mentioned something too. What else?
No, he just said it.
Oh, right. Generally speaking, what are some things that like all primates have in common? Whether you're an orangutan, a gorilla, a monkey, a human,
Hand.
Hair.
hands and feet, right? Hair on the top of your head. How many of these things?
2 eyes.
2 eyes, right? 1
No.
nose, right? Generally speaking, you're going to find that those are all the same. So if I'm telling someone the difference between a chimpanzee and a gorilla, I've got to be more specific with my language. What's something I could say that makes them different?
Are
They don't talk.
Characters.
Their brain.
We're talking about characteristics like shapes. What's a different shape between a chimpanzee and a gorilla? Something they have that makes them look distinct.
They're smaller.
All right, size could be a measurement. What else? Yeah, I thought you had your hand up. Oh, it's just a stretching movement.
Bit of pattern. And how they move.
All right, maybe the way they walk, right? Their movement. So Right, so that's an idea of being specific. So let's do a visual representation to drive this point home a little better. All right, do we all know what this thing is? It is a dartboard, right? And I'll shut the lights off so we can see it a little more clearly. What are some of the things we noticed that are different about different parts of the dartboard?
Different patterns.
All right, so he's noticing that there's numbers. What else do we notice?
There's different patterns.
All right, there's different patterns, right? We have things like this, which are called,
Color.
we have circles, and someone mentioned there's different colors, right? So we can look at this and we start to use our language of detail. So let's go ahead and all draw a rough sketch of a dartboard, just like a target from the department store. So we just need a few rings to make our activity work. So an outer ring, maybe a middle ring, and then a center bullseye. All right, so for now, underneath, and we're gonna write in and on this, so make it big. You can use up the bottom of your notes. I see some students doing something really smart. They're looking for stencils at their desks. Not all of you have the bigger roll of tape, but some of you do. And I'm sure a kind neighbor would be willing to loan you one if they're done with it. All right, great. And the circle doesn't need to be exact. You know, we're not going to hang in the MFA tomorrow. It's just for our purpose of our notation. Yeah, just make a couple rings, like an outer one, maybe a middle one, and then your bullseye. All right, so I'll demo that for those that are a little unsure, right? So let's just give ourselves at least one outer ring. Maybe if you could draw this center ring and then a bullseye in the center, that will bring us to where we need to be. So when you play darts, right, you know, obviously you're shooting this thing across the room, right? And you're trying to land in the zone where the points are the highest, right? So obviously, if I'm playing against you, we both want to get all our darts under the 20, but not the 1, because then we only get 1 point. So part of the skill of the game is, you know, cultivating as many players.
I use one of the vocab.
There,
It's a girl's shoe.
bring that one. I forget why they have
No, it's
that.
accuracy. You need good accuracy to get that bullseye right there.
That's gonna be part of our activity.
Exactly.
All right, so by now we've all drawn our target.
Because they're loose.
All right, let's enjoy that activity at 3 o'clock, please, folks. All right, so what I'm gonna have everyone do now is the same as me. And I'd like you to draw one dart in the center of your dartboard. Right? Whoa, that was really sloppy and crazy. Yeah, I'll do another one. You know what? And you can just even do an arrow, right? Oh, the board is.
Can you wait? I'm
All
not
right.
done.
Sorry, the board has gone under misalignment. Just give me a moment here.
Oh, you're gonna do that tap?
Yeah, do the tapping thing.
Can I do it?
Right, center of the target.
He's nice. He's really good at this.
Yeah.
Highly skilled.
Who needs it? Oh.
There we go. All right, we're back in business. All right, so let's say I've thrown a dart, and this dart has landed right in the center. Again, we'll all just draw a rough representation of this.
We gotta put the numbers.
You don't have to put the numbers.
Oh.
Yeah, we just need some rings just to get the activity going. And then I'm also going to draw several darts in this area, all hitting the same location pretty much. Right, so and we're all going to draw a rough draft of this. Right, so maybe yours look a little more like arrows, but as long as they've got the general shape, you can tell what they are.
That's my.
All right,
That's my foot.
so I've got my one dart that's hit the center, and I've got 3 darts that have hit the same spot over here. It's getting a little weird back there, smelling each other's shoes. Maybe we can put those back on.
Oh, right?
Why take my shoes for?
So, why is it having issues?
All right, so we had a few words in our notes today. Yeah. We do not. All right, and who's got the magic?
No, what's that girl last name was called?
Eddie.
Awesome. Oh yeah. All right, so Eddie, if you could pull the next person for us.
Not me.
Okay.
I don't know, who's not good?
No, I let her use it for her dirt thing.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm gonna.
Good, he's with eyes closed. That's good. There you go.
Pyro.
Pyro.
All right. Alright, so Hiram,
Well,
if you look at where these darts are on the board, one of these situations is different than the other, and one of these situations is accurate, one of them is precise. Based on our definitions, or just your word knowledge of the words accurate and precise, what do you think? Which condition is which?
I say precise is on the bullseye and accurate on the.
And, we have, seems like someone's disputing your claim. Yeah, sure.
Alright, so I say the one on the bullseye is accuracy, and the one in the, and those right there are precise, because precise is like how close like the measurements were to the actual value. So then they're all like in kind of the same area, like together.
All right.
And that was like accurate.
That was a really great, that was some great evidence language for his claim, right? Right, so what we've got here, when they're all close together, that's when we've achieved precision. Right, every time I've thrown the dart, it's landed in basically the same place. Whereas over here, why would we say it's agreeable to say that this is accurate? Right, when we're accurate, we are,
precise.
right, we're right where we want to be, right? We're in the best possible, if we had 4 or 5 of them in the middle, they'd be precise and accurate. But just getting the bullseye itself is accurate. It's the thing that we wanted to happen. Now let's go ahead and play with this idea of specificity. Right, so we've got precision all grouped together. We've got accurate being in the right spot. Let's say I put a dart right down here as well. Right, so I've got a dart down here. What I'd like you to do for the next couple of minutes, and in many ways as possible, describe the location of this dart. So being as specific as possible as you can with your language. Looking at everything the dart is near, touching, everything you can about it, about the whole dartboard itself. So writing as many things as you can to be specific about the blue dart.
It smells good.
Oh man.
Okay? So right now? Yeah. Alright, cool. Alright, so specificity. And once again, I'll redraw my random rough dart here. Alright, so again, describing the location of that dart with as many words as possible. So thinking about everything you see near that dart and describing as many things as you can. After the writing period, you'll each be getting called on to contribute to the pile, so you'll need to have written something. Looking at the dartboard as a whole, looking at the area, writing as many things as you can about where the dart has landed. The blue dot. We want to be specific about where it's every and anything that's a clue about where it is on the board. So if you were telling someone over the phone where it's starting, what would you say? All the things you would say. You could say that. That's one of the things. Sure. So what we're trying to do is use our language to describe a situation to maybe someone who's not there to see it. And we're saying we got this dart, it's down here, it's landed at that point on the board. How many things can we say to a person over the phone where that dart is on the
Just
Oh,
board?
describe where the dart is.
I just did.
Yeah, it's describing where the dart is. Right? Think about the whole board, everything you see in, on, and near it. Yeah, Jasmine. If you've got your pass aside, I'm happy to send you. It's not mine. Wait, you need my pass, you record how many times you've gone, because you know, people. So now, folks, we're gonna start pulling some names from the cup. Alright, and you're, yeah, there you go. Alright, great. So, the person who went last, obviously, is gonna pull this time, and they're gonna tell us one of the things that they said, and they'll pick someone new. Alright. Alright, so what's one of the things we could say specifically about where this dart has landed?
Can I say something?
I don't know, can I just say the number and name it on 15?
Alright, right, so it landed in the number 15 row, right? So there's something we can put. And Will, you had something extra?
Yeah, it's not red, it's not white, it's like a tan.
It's like a pale.
Yeah, right, okay, great. So we can say, and I can't quite complete what Will was saying now. It's on yellow what? What would we call?
15.
On number.
We say yellow 15? Or what is the shape of the yellow area?
Square
Yeah,
It
we'll
looks
say,
like a triangle.
On the yellow, on the yellow pattern.
on the yellow.
alright. We'll go with rectangle, is a triangle, comes to a point, right? So, notice that we're on that yellow rectangle. Alright, and if you could choose the next person for us?
That's you. That's all you.
Alvin?
That's
Oh,
not
that's
Austin.
Devon.
Devon.
Oh,
That's not.
alright, so Devon, what's something you can say about where this dart is on the board?
No, don't push me.
Maybe people shouldn't be pushing on each other with scissors.
Yeah, thank you very much. Your turn.
She burned my neck.
I'll give you a hint.
I even would.
If I do this, what can you tell me now? Alright, great, so it's on the right. Alright, so Devon, if you could pull the next person for us?
Wait, me,
Which one?
C.
That-
They're both C.
For real?
No, it just says Nathan C.
Oh, that's me.
Hey, Coco.
That's the boring one, I don't want to nickname
Hey.
Alright, so what else can we say now, based on this new line I put? Well, so when I drew this line here, we talked about left and right. Now I've done this line, we talked about what? We're looking at what?
Did you just say south?
Everything above the line would be the, everything below the line would be the, awesome, right? Is there anything else folks noticed? You could say, if this was a compass, right? You could say that it's southeast.
But it's not a compass.
Well, but would most people know what you meant by saying that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, Diana, if you could maybe hold on for that, thanks. Yeah.
It's like the number. If you cut it out, it's like the number 7 on the
Cut it out.
Count
You
it.
like, are you thinking of it like as a clock? Or,
Yeah. Count it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
oh, I see, 1, 2, 3, okay. So it's the 7th row, that's a really good one. You got one too? Yeah.
I was gonna add on to what she
And
said.
folks should be writing these if you haven't already.
I was gonna add on to what she said. I was gonna say it landed like going clockwise.
Could be going counterclockwise.
It's clockwise because it goes here.
Because it's pointing in that direction? Alright, cool, great. So we can talk about how it's facing clockwise, that's kind of a neat one. What about the actual dart itself? What's something we haven't talked about?
It's blue.
The dart is blue, right? So if I'm describing to someone all these things, they have no choice but to come to the same conclusion.
Odd number or even?
It's an odd number.
It's landed on an odd number, sure.
I meant to that.
You said that's an even number?
Great, so we came up with a lot of really great things here.
Yeah, you do.
All right, now what we're gonna do next, are you guys gonna open your books to page 78?
Think the gyro.
I got 2 buttons.
The blue book, please. Blue book, page 78.
Oh!
No, let's watch that.
We'll see that one later on. Another day, another day. What we're gonna do now, though, is we're gonna be watching a short video in a moment, but first, under your activity section, if folks would recreate this grid. So underneath your activity, we're gonna create the grid on page 79. Make the boxes big, we're gonna be writing several things in each box. And then we're gonna look at some differences, like how she mentioned the striping pattern, we're also looking at some other stuff. Yeah.